going to be the last video for this paper. This is question 7, 7.2 continued. So 7.2.2 now asks us to work in the DSTV worksheet, that's the one I'm currently in now, and make the following changes to the 3D column chart display as shown in the example below. Alright, so we're going to come here to our chart, add the chart title. So we're going to click here, select this and add the title DSTV. Then it says insert the image 7 DSTV as a background of the walls. Now if we look here, we've got chart area, and then over here we've got back wall. So be careful where you're clicking. Make sure you're in the right area. So you right click, and then over here it says format walls. So there we're going to go to full, picture, insert from file. I'm going to go to my desktop 2019, and the picture they want us to use is the 7 DSTV. There we go, insert, and there it inserted to look like the picture. Now it says change the color of the bars to yellow. So these bars here, I click on them once, format series, go here to full, solid full, and I'm going to pick yellow. Okay, so close this. And now it says ensure that the y-axis options displays in units of 200. So if we look at this one, it goes from 0 to 100, then up to 200, 3, 4. So this is moving in intervals of hundreds, and they want us to move it in intervals of 200. So what I need to do is right click, say format axis. Over here where it says major 100, we're going to say 200. Okay, the maximum must be 1,000 according to your example in the test. So if you're looking at the test, it starts from 0, goes up 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 1,000 at the top. Alright, so if we're happy with the way that looks, we can close this. And that was the last thing that we needed to do on this chart. So we can move on to 7.2.2. Alright, so over here at 7.2.3 it says I need to insert a function in cell B6 that would automatically display the amount of a DSTV package and the installation fee when the option is chosen in column B. So what they're saying here, column B has got some check boxes put in for us, and you can see when I hover the mouse over it, it says false. Now when I tick the box, you will now see that the option, if I click on the cell, says true. So when the box is unticked, the cell will say false, so when it's ticked, it will say true. So basically what we're going to look at is that value. So if the box is true, then it must be C1 plus the installation fee. Now if it's this box here, it will be, if B2 is true, it will then be C2 plus C5. So that's basically what we're going to do, and we're going to use the if function, and we're going to nest other if functions within there to get all these criteria in. So let's go to C6 where the formula is going to go. We're going to type in equals. We're going to say if, open up the bracket, and the first logic test we're looking at is at the top here. So if B1 equals true, then the value must be C1. Then the next one, we're going to say if, open bracket, B2 equals true, then the value needs to be C2. If B3 Okay, we're almost there. Okay, this is the last if statement here. We're going to say if B4 equals true, it must equal C4, else what we're going to do here is we're going to put in 2 quotation marks to leave it blank, and then close bracket 1, 2, 3, and 4 times because we opened it up 4 times, and then we're going to say plus, and then the installation fee. Push enter, and right now it's saying value. Excuse me, that's because of this. Now, when we put stuff into quotation marks, because none of them are ticked, it's not adding a number, it's adding a string. Even though it's a blank string plus 500 Rand, what's the answer? Well, exactly, hashtag value. So that there is the issue we've got here. If we were going to fix that, and if the question did ask us to fix that, we could always come here to the front of this if and type in if error, and then open the bracket, and then that would be the value if it was correct without any errors. And if there is an error, we could just put 0 and close the bracket. So now instead of it saying value, it says 0. The minute we tick on one of these boxes, then there will no longer be an error, and so we put in the correct value. So let me show you. That's the first one. There it takes the 500 plus the 249, and it makes it 749. And I untick that box, goes back to 0. Here we've got 500 plus 385, and so forth. Alright, now if we click on 2 boxes, you'll notice it takes the top one, because that's the first one inside my if statement. So the minute that there is the condition, it will automatically use that number. I can have all the boxes ticked, it will still give me the same number. As soon as I untick the first one, it will take the next one, and that's just because it's the next criteria that's looking at. So you are done when you have your formula looking like we had with the value. You didn't have to add the if error. That's always a nice one to know, especially when you're creating a spreadsheet and you want to clean it up, especially when you divide by 0 and you don't want that to show until you actually have your formula in there. Now, up to this point, we are done. So you can save, you can close, but this video is going to carry on because I want to show you one more thing. Here we've got a problem that we only want the one box ticked, and these are check boxes. So I'm going to show you what I would use instead of the check boxes, and it'll be something nice for those of you that are keen on learning a little bit more about Excel and radio buttons. Alright, so I hit a sheet here called DSTV radio button. You will notice it looks similar to the DSTV one, but over here we've got radio buttons. Now, the way I add a radio button in, make sure you got your developer tab open, and then we go to the insert, and over here we've got the form controls option button, which is what Excel calls the radio button. Okay, now to insert it, you just click on it, drag, and there you would draw it. Now you right click to select the button. If you left click on the button, it will select the actual button. If you want to make changes to it, you need to right click to make the selection. And then over here you can edit text, format control, and all of grouping, and all the other settings that you want to change. So let me delete this one. Okay, so all I did is I added 4 radio buttons. This one first, second, third, and fourth. And now when I click on that one, and it's selected, the minute I select something else, you'll notice that now loses the selection, and this one gets the selection. And it happens with all of them. Alright, so now how can I use this to my benefit? You will see how what we did in this example here with this super long formula, how it is so much easier. First of all, I need to assign a cell that these buttons are going to work with. I'm going to just use the C1 here. So the first thing I'm going to do is right click on one of them. I'm going to go to Format Control, and over here where it says cell a link, I'm going to select what C. Okay. Now you'll see a 4 has appeared there. When I click on this radio button, you'll see it's 3, 2, and 1. Remember I told you I inserted this one first, then that one, and so forth. So as I select them, you can see that the number changes, and that there is going to help with my formula. Now, this already is quite useful, but now what we're going to do, the driving force behind these radio buttons is a function called choose. And I'm going to show you how that works. I'm going to say here equals choose. I'm going to open up a bracket. The index number is the number that's going to show up in C1. And then I'm going to say, comma, value 1. So if it's value 1, I wanted to say that. Value 2, value 3, and value 4. Then I'll close my bracket. And then at the end here, I'm going to say plus and B5. Enter. So now as you can see, there's my first value. I've added the 500 to that, and the minute I select this one, that one loses the selection, and here we've got that selected, and that is how radio buttons work. Much better than the checkboxes, where you'd have to click to this select and then select the next one. Alright guys, I hope that was interesting and something that will get you to practice and experiment. Alright, good luck.